elected officials and no media that have pre-registered to comment. So we can move on to agenda item number 1, which is the approval of the open session meeting minutes of February 6th, 2025.
Move for approval, Member Cox.
I'll second,
All right.
Member Gaines.
Second, Member Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Great. The minutes are approved, so I can officially send them back to Natalie so she won't hound me.
Okay.
So now we're going to talk about the Key Bridge awarded contracts, a rebuild, the Key Bridge rebuild, and Mr. Harkness will walk us through that.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Jim.
Jim Harkness, Chief Engineer, Maryland Transportation Authority. So as the chairman mentioned, just wanted to take this opportunity to walk through the various contracts and the roles that they play in the relationships between the various parties on our Key Bridge rebuild project. So on page 1 in your materials, we've built out a pretty simplified organizational chart for the project. So you can see on the upper left is, of course, Federal Highway, and of course we have a relationship, and they are a key stakeholder in this project. So they are integrated with our project team. They are part of our team. They participate in a lot of the meetings, and we have separate coordination meetings with Federal Highway on the project. So you can see the boxes in green. That's our MDTA employees, and so you can see that we have myself. I'm involved in the project, and then we have a division of project development. So we have the director, Brian Wolf. He has a deputy director that is full-time on this project, Jason Stolickney. And then sort of parallel with Brian, but on the construction side, we have our deputy director of construction, and we have, he's assigned to the project. So Bill Randall is our MDTA rep on the construction side. And then as you move down, we sort of get into these three buckets of contracts, if you will. So the first one that you all approved last August is in the middle there, in that sort of orange peach color. That's the Progressive Design Team. That our contract number on that is KB 4903. That is the Kiewit team. To the left of that, in the yellowish box, is our General Engineering Consultant Team, GEC, we refer to them, and that was a contract that you approved back in December of this year. And on the right side are the most recent group of contracts, so 3 contracts over there for our construction management and inspection, and that was approved back in January of this year. Are there any questions on organization before I move on? Okay, so if we move to page 2, we'll kind of go through that progressive design build team and the makeup there. So as you know, that is headed by Kiewit, and so Kiewit also has the main design responsibility on this. So Kiewit Design is also involved there under that Kiewit banner. And then I just listed out some of the larger subs that they have, some subcontractors that they are using as part of this progressive design build team. So they have Sistra, a group called Cowie, Baird, and Arrow. They are just sort of major subs. Just wanted to give you a flare. That's not all Kiewit, so they definitely have specialized sub-consultant partners that they're working with. So the scope, some of the scope items that Kiewit is going to be performing under this contract, it's the pre-construction, it's design. So taking the design where we were at essentially 0% and for this, what we were calling the phase one project contract, they would take that up to approximately about a 50% design. As part of their scope, they're going to be developing cost estimates and schedules. So, they'll work on a cost estimate. It's called an opinion of probable construction cost. They'll get to that GMP once they have the 50%. They'll work on the estimates and schedules associated with a guaranteed maximum or fixed price. Some other responsibilities that are included in their scope is just gathering data. So back in January, we started some field pre-construction activities. That's surveying. So topographic surveying, underwater surveying, doing the bathymetry, and then also out there doing soil boring. So soil samples, taking soil samples on land and in the marine environment. They're also going to be responsible for assisting us with obtaining the permits that we need. So when we need information on the design, they're supplying that to us and helping us obtain those permits, letting us know their impact, so we know which permits we need to cover and what needs to be in those permits. They're also anything that would have to go back to Federal Highway for a NEPA reevaluation. They're going to be responsible for putting that information together. And then they are also assisting us with public outreach. So supplying us images for our use in public outreach, working, being available with us. They're partners in our outreach to DBE firms. And so that is kind of a rundown of the major scope items that they have in that contract.
Hey, can I interrupt?
Yes.
Just 1 minute. On permitting, is that being coordinated between both the feds and the state at the same time?
Oh, absolutely.
Permitting.
Yeah. So we have big joint meetings related to permitting. So we're all not in a room, a virtual room together, working between Fed and state levels on obtaining and satisfying those permits.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. That will move to page 3. So now page 3 is going to be the general engineering consultant team, or again, GEC. They had termed themselves the Bridging Maryland Partnership. So the 3 main players there being WSP, JMT, and Arcane K. All groups that we are very familiar with. We've done a lot of work with them. And including, of course, work on the NICE Bridge. So some of their responsibilities, including essentially being our representative during the project, right? So they're able to leverage specialized experience and then the manpower that is needed on a project of this scale and this schedule. They're going to be working on developing the project specifications. So that's what we've been working on. It's a collaboration between Kiewit's team and this team, but we are putting together ultimately what the contractor will have to perform to. They are also running and managing the task forces. So each of the major components or disciplines that are involved in this project have a task force, and they are responsible for managing those. And then when we have design reviews, which is pretty frequent weekly, they are responsible for the design reviews and addressing comments and making sure that we progress. They also kind of on again with the permit, they are managing that coordination and moving things along with the permit agencies, making sure that we deliver what the permit agency needs, and that we're and then we're also using these folks to assist with our public outreach. So all of our pop-up events, our community meetings, anything that we're going to be doing where we're engaging with the communities, then they're putting those materials together for us. They also bring a independent cost estimator to the project. So it's not just our contractor that's developing cost estimates and schedules. We have an independent cost estimator, an ICE, and that responsibility, that scope resides with this contract here. All right. Any questions on our GEC?
So there are multiple permit agencies? Is that they're just different federal agencies?
Federal and state, right? So you can think like Army Corps, U.S. Coast Guard, Fish and Wildlife, NOAA, Fisheries. So that's on the federal level, and of course federal highway too. But then and then you get into your MDE and DNR and the state level as well.
You see any potential roadblocks there? I guess we're supposed to fast track this, aren't we?
Yeah, and they certainly are definitely, bringing everything that they can to the table on this, and certainly working with us for fast tracking. Yes, so I mean, it's a large lift, and that's what the GEC is able to do well, is to be able to coordinate that and make sure that we're not getting to the point where an agency is waiting on something from us and sort of we're late in delivering or anything like that. So that kind of attention to these matters is what the GEC is able to do for us. All right. Finally, we'll move down to page 4. Again, this is the construction management and inspection, or CMI. This is the latest round of contracts that you approved, and all of the contracts that we're discussing today have been through the Board of Public Works and have received a notice to proceed. So everybody's cleared and on board. And so with these construction management and inspection contracts, essentially, we're looking for, this group to help us with quality control. So, quality control by performing construction inspections, making sure things are being built to specification, quality assurance through the on-site testing. They'll do inspections of plants where materials are being fabricated before delivery to the job. These folks will also monitor our contractors' performance on obtaining their DBE goals, on adherence to the permits that we're getting through our state and federal agencies, as well as making sure that they're staying on schedule. And they also review and process the invoices for the contractor. So making sure that because this is a federal, has federal money in it, got to make sure that we're adhering to the federal guidelines, make sure that all those invoices are reimbursable. And so they'll be working on that, as well as getting those processed timely, so that we can keep getting our contractor and our subcontractors paid.
How long do you expect it would take to pay a monthly estimate to the general?
Well, I think in general, we pay within the 30 days, and that's our goal. So we'll with the federal process, once we get it and we have it fully well oiled, I'm sure we'll be right there. So, but the good thing is that these folks have experience with performing and doing this, this work and getting these invoice processed for other clients. So that's the good part. We have experience there, and we'll be able to utilize that and make sure we can get those invoices paid promptly.
That's important.
Any other questions? So I have one. Can you go back, or looking back at the org chart? Are there any other pieces that are going to come in later that we need to be aware of? Because I think that's also, this is great, gives us a good snapshot. But just in, getting feedback from the rest of the board, I think they, we want to know ahead of time what's coming so that we sort of are prepared for it. That, Member Cox, that sound right? Member Speed, Member Gaines. So is there any other pieces or any other contracts that we're going to be looking at in the future that are going to fit into this org chart to give us the picture?
This was a high level org chart, so we could get very detailed, but under that progressive design build team, again, we called that phase 1. So we could have chunked that out as phase 1, extra work or early work packages. We could have done something there, demolition being its own thing, and then finally a phase 2, and then phase 2, you can chunk that up a bunch of different ways. So there will be, in terms of what you may be seeing here as part of the board would be extra work packages, things that weren't in the scope of phase 1 that you approved back in August. Those we would be bringing to you.
I guess I would suggest that when we start to put those packages out, instead of waiting for us to approve them, maybe give us a heads up when it goes out for bid.
I agree.
So basically start adding the detail under the progressive design build team at future meetings. You don't have to do it, today, but it just would help to know that, hey, in 3 months, we know we're going to see these contracts, and you can explain to us exactly it's a big project. And I think we all just want to make sure we've got our arms around it as good as we can. Go ahead, Bill.
And one more, maybe Jim, as far as maybe adding to what the chairman just said, as far as moving it along, when we start the demolition, both sides, that we have maybe a heads up when that's going to happen. I know you probably have projections at this point and getting permits and everything, but if you can give us maybe a heads up a little bit and in this committee.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Demolition wasn't something that was included in phase 1, so it would be definitely something we're bringing to you to, provide you information. So before we can, come sign off on anything with them, we would have to come to you folks.
Right. Understood. Any more questions? Oh.
Yeah, I have a question. How far is the design team now? What percentage complete are they?
We are currently working on, we've had a 15% submitted back, kind of because they're working on different pieces. We've had different pieces submitted at different times. Basically, near the end of January through February, we've had, what we were calling 15%, and we're working to get to 50% or somewhere close to that by the end of April.
A lot of action in the next 60 days.
Yep.
Good.
Great. Any other questions, or we can? Jim, thank you. There's obviously quite a bit of work to be done, and we appreciate you kind of putting some meat on some of the bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Okay, so now Sarah is going to talk to us about an update on the MDTA Strategic Plan.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Sarah Clifford, Director of Office of Strategy and Employee Engagement. This morning, I'll be providing an update on the MDTA Strategic Plan. So in May of 2024, we received approval for the plan. And since May, the Office of Strategy and Employee Engagement has been sharing the plan with MDTA employees and developed a comprehensive rollout plan. The rollout plan fully kicked off in November of 2024 with an all-day collaboration meeting called the Huddle. This meeting focused on the common theme, MDTA's one team, which is woven throughout the MDTA Strategic Plan, as well as developing strategies to support the strategic plan goals. Employees were placed in 4 teams, each linked to the strategic plan goal. To begin the Huddle, employees heard from Member Carroll about the importance and benefits of teamwork. And once the goal teams were identified, each group was asked to discuss their goal, develop a team name, vote on a coach, develop 3 to 5 strategies and/or actions, and report out to the group. Each goal team is championed by a chief. So the team names are, for the first goal, prioritize people in all we do. Their team name is P2, and they are championed by Percy Dangerfield. The second goal, expand our reputation as a national leader. Their team name is the Legends, and they are championed by Richard Hermio and Jim Harkness. The third goal, demonstrate financially sound and fiscally responsible decision-making. Their team name is the Washington Capitalists, and they are championed by Deb Sharpless. The fourth goal, ensure the safety and security of our employees, customers, and facilities. Their team name is the Hall Monitors, and they are championed by Colonel Scott. So since November, the goal teams have been meeting bi-weekly to monthly, working on several strategies and a few of the accomplishments for each goal. So P2, they've conducted site visits to MDTA's facilities, learning which methods are best for communicating with our employees. They've also worked with HR to ensure that strategic plans are handed out during NEO to all new employees. The Legends have developed a list of all industry associations and organizations which MDTA is a part of, and they are working with the Office of Communications and Marketing to develop an intranet page for employees to learn more about the organizations. They will be hosting a lunch and learn on IBTTA in April. The Washington Capitalists are reviewing different opportunities for cost-saving initiatives, utilizing available technology applications to improve processes, and they are also identifying additions for the knowledge management repository. The Hall Monitors have been working with HR to add safety and security training to NEO, and they are updating safety posters, which are throughout facilities. Our goal teams continue to work on additional strategies and provide 30, 60, and 90-day verbal reports. And so now that the goal teams have been established, the next step is to focus on the initiatives listed in the roadmap. There are 16 initiatives, which are key focus areas and/or projects for MDTA. And during the monthly leadership roundtable meetings, updates on one or two initiatives will be provided. So during March, we heard an update on the knowledge management program, as well as our process for reviewing and updating procedures. That update was provided by the Office of Strategy and Employee Engagement. So the next, I guess the third step of this plan would be to present to the executive director a list of potential performance metrics, which will relate to the goals and initiatives listed in the plan. The metrics would populate a dashboard or a balanced scorecard. Are there any questions?
Sounds like a lot of work. Sounds like you got some great input, and we'll thank member Carroll for his input as well. I'm sure he did fantastic.
He did. Thank you.
We look forward to hearing more and how I love hearing we're looking for ways to save money. So that's always good to hear. So any questions from the committee? All right. Looks like you're off the hook, Sarah. So you must have done a fantastic job. Yeah, I think you did. So before we sign off, and before I ask for a motion to adjourn, this may be Member Gaines' last meeting with us. Love to see him one or two or a dozen more times, but Member Gaines, thank you for your input to the Capital Committee. Obviously, your experience and background has been invaluable to advising this committee, advising this group, and advising the MDTA. So thank you for your service. We look forward to hearing more about. You can have extra time to spend in Florida now, so and maybe some more rounds of tennis. So I don't know if you wanted to close out with some words of your own, or.
Well, no, I just say I've enjoyed being on this committee and getting to meet all you guys and hearing the inside track of what's going on. It's complicated business, and I think I understand it a little bit better now than before, but I've just been first-class organization and a first-class committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Bruce, and those who came before and after. So.
But I'll just say, Lee and I have sat together for the last 8.5 years, and it's been a joy, and your experience and your business and your input has been invaluable on not only on this committee but on the board, Lee. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Bruce, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you too, Member Gaines. You're actually the only current board member that was here last time I was around. So it's
Yeah,
been
it's about
good.
time to get me out of there. That's for sure.
good working with you both times. But please stay in touch if there's any questions you have. You do bring a great perspective,
Right.
to the MDTA and the board. So appreciate it.
I'll keep your phone number.
Okay, I'll keep yours.
And I'll take you up on that open door policy that you've established for all board members at your home in Florida, especially.
Okay.
Especially in January when it's in
Anytime.
the single digits.
That's right. That's right.
Seriously, Member Gaines, why don't you close this out with a motion to adjourn?
Okay. I can make a motion that we adjourn.
All right.
For a second.
Got a second from Member Sneed. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Aye. All right, that was all of us.